Hi everyone, it's Dasher Dave here and I'm back for another crafty video. So today we are going to do less of a tutorial and more of a remake of something I've made before. So I need to make some of my aged sellotape and I thought I'd just bring you along. Now I know that I've done this video before, I've done it several times before actually, but I'm doing it again simply because I need some. This will be going out the day after my auntie's funeral, and I just needed to make something to kind of just help me prepare for the drive down, because for me it's Tuesday the whatever it is 18th of whatever day, April, and tomorrow is the funeral, and I just need something to just kind of just manage my how I'm feeling at the moment. So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to make some do some aged sellotape. Now on here I have these first two. I don't know if you can see here. These first two lines here are this, which is sellotape zero plastic. Okay, the plastic itself, well, the plastic that isn't plastic, the sellotape itself has warped. The reason for that is I'm clumsy and I dropped it in some water. That isn't part of the process, that's just because clumsy. It dried out, it's fine, it's sticky, it's fine, it works fine. The next one is just some generic sticky tape. Isn't a sellotape brand, it's just a sticky tape. And then, so that's these two. These two here are some Scotch pressure sensitive tape. It kind of looks slightly opaque, but kind of goes clear when you press it down. And then this bit here is just some of my gummed sealing tape. Okay, so it's some of that. So I've got two lines here and two lines here, and then this strip here. This, because this is gummed, it's not stuck down, so I've just taped it down with a bit of sticky tape on either end. Sorry, I'm just going to move it up a bit because it's overhanging. And I've got some gloves on because I'll be going to a funeral tomorrow and I don't want to have inky hands. So so we're just going to make some sticky tape. So I'll tell you what I do. So I always use a square block. That way then you don't get any circles, because I'm going to be dabbing. You're not going to get any circles. I think straight lines look better in this case than circles, look more natural. And I usually use a very dirty pad, which is this one here that has been soaked with other stuff. In fact, actually, let's just use that one. So I never wash it, I never do anything with it. It's always had alcohol ink on it. It's got a bit of texture to it as well itself, and you know what, it doesn't make any difference. If you use a clean one, the only thing you're going to be doing for the first few attempts is the sponge is going to be soaking up some of the colour rather than it getting applied, whereas this has built up a resist to soaking up. Okay, so I use a square block for that. It's one of the Ranger ones, the old style ones before they brought out the round ones, and so I don't know whether you can get them anymore, don't know. And then the other thing I do sometimes use is felt on the bottom of it, but I don't have any felt, so I've been using this for a very long time. And then I either use Adirondack, or Linda Ronstadt as I call it, or this Pinata, and again it's an alcohol ink, or there's just the Ranger Tim Holtz inks. They're basically the same thing. And or there's these, which are Pantone inks. These are just left from a Pantone set from a long time ago, from a Pantone letter set. So that's what I use. It's always alcohol ink. Now when you put it on and you're going to need to leave it to dry. Now you can speed dry it with a heat gun, but if you're going to use a heat gun, you've got to bear in mind that if you're using a heat gun, it can melt the plastic, and the plastic will shrivel. So you just have to be very gentle with it. Or the best thing to do is to leave it to dry naturally. So if you are going to heat gun it, then you are still going to have to leave it to dry naturally to get a permanent set to it. So it takes, you should leave it, even if you've heat dried it, leave it for a minimum of 24 hours. And what that'll do is, even when you've heat dried it, it will still have a bit of a tacky feel to it. If you leave it, it won't have that tacky feel, okay? It can rub off over time, okay, but you could seal it. So you could, once you've done it, you could go in and seal it with some kind of a matte finish to it, or you could put a glossy finish on, or whatever you like. But I tend to leave it. But what we'll do is we'll do it. I'll post the video, and then in a future video I'll show you what's happened to it after the 24-hour period, because I'm going away for 3 days. So this is a perfect time for me to do this now, and it will dry. Okay, so just going to check that, yeah, that the video is recording, because I'm usually guilty of that, setting it going. So I tend to use the dark colours that are quite, you know, reminiscent of aged sellotape. So, but like, let's use some various colours. If you're going to use a lighter colour, you have to go in with the lighter colours first. And all I do is put a bit on, and then I kind of dab it on. If you try and put the lighter colours on afterwards, they'll just be lost in the dark colours. So I'm doing this with natural light. Let me just turn on some unnatural light. So this is, so where it's not sticking, where it's not attaching, that's actually the tape. So the tape is here, and it's actually, I've just got this taped to some non-stick, it's supposed to be non-stick, mat. Basically it's a bit of cereal wrapping paper, cereal, you know, packing. Can't get my words out because I'm feeling a bit apprehensive. So I'm not apprehensive about the funeral, I'm just apprehensive about seeing everybody, and so I'm going to put some dark on. Let's see if that'll help. So remember that it's alcohol ink going onto plastic. It will have a bit of a resist to it. So that's the one that is the zero plastic one. Let's see how it goes on the plastic one. So I think it adheres to the plastic one better than it does to the plastic free. So you see how we're getting these like pooling here, but you know, we can go in and fill it in with more ink shortly. So, and once it's dry, it'll kind of stop moving anyway. So I like to have a range of different kind of finishes, you know, different colours. Got to find where I've got ink lids to go and that sort of thing. I'll put some different colours on. Oh no, I've used that one. Let's not use that one, Dave. Let's try this one. So, but yeah, so I know that people have said to me in the past, they've tried my method out and they've found that it hasn't dried well. It's because you have to leave it for 24 hours. I really do suggest that you leave it. Don't try and speed up the process. Okay, the other thing you might find is it will lose its tacky on the back. That's fine, you know, you're probably going to stick it down anyway. I wouldn't rely on its tackiness in a journal anyway. I would want to, you know, re-tacky it. I might put a bit more of this one on. Let's try this one on a different row. And I don't mind it being in different, you know, colours, that sort of thing. You know, it doesn't all age in the same way. So you can have some really dark stuff, or you can have some light stuff, whatever. And don't forget, you can go over it again. Let's put some of that on this one. I've not tried using this one before, this style of tape. This is the pressure sensitive one, the Scotch tape. Now, it won't give you that crinkly feeling of old aged tape. You know how it's feels very fragile. It won't give you that crinkliness, but it will definitely give you the appearance of. So that's really what I'm trying to recreate. If you want the texture of it, then I don't know what to suggest. Maybe use some crinkly paper in the first place, something crinkly. So this one's a bit more orangey. And make sure that you use this in a well ventilated area, because it is alcohol ink. So anything suspended in alcohol will, can give you a headache, can give you that kind of feeling a bit overwhelmed by fumes. So just be careful. The drier and tackier this gets, the easier it is to apply onto the less likely it is to pool as soon as you put it down. So I'm just going to go over the whole thing and just cover it. Now, like I say, there are other people out there that do this in a different way. Just to let you know, whenever you put wet ink on a dry part of the alcohol, you'll always lift some of it off, because alcohol, just like watercolour reacts with water, alcohol inks react with alcohol. So if you're putting wet alcohol onto something, it will react again. So just bear that in mind. So if you like an area, if you think that particular area is really nice, don't go in with some more alcohol, otherwise it'll just obliterate what you've done. So you kind of just have to go with the look of the drawer and how's it going to turn out, etc. Okay, so it's a case of just going over it and just. I like it to just appear natural, and however it turns out, it turns out. So you'll find that sometimes it'll seep underneath the tape, and you'll get markings on the back. That's fine. Again, with me, I'm not worried about that. It all adds to the interest. So if you really want to make sure that it sets it, so like you like what you've done, and you don't want it to pool anymore, this is the point when you can just come in with your heat gun and just give it a dry. But remember, if you've got it on this plastic will also melt. So you basically just want to get the alcohol to evaporate and leave the colour behind. So don't try and dry it, but just try and get the alcohol to dissipate a bit. So that's basically all I'm doing. And it'll move less, although, I'm still going to have to go in and put some more colour in. It'll move less because it's already very dry. I've just scratched my face, and I can't think whether I scratched my face with the finger that's got the alcohol ink on or not. So I might look a bit silly tomorrow, who knows. I'll use some of this yellow, I think. Put the lids back on things, Dave. So yeah, I'm sorry if I sound a bit warbly in my voice. It's not so much nerves, it's more anxiety that I'm channeling at the moment. So also I'm driving down in a car that is not, my car is not as reliable as it was. It's bought and paid for, it's all mine. However, it just needs some work doing to it, and I haven't been able to afford to have it done. So it's got to last me. I mean, at some point I will be looking at getting a new car, but it's only when I'm in the financial position to be able to buy one, and it'll be one of those ones where I don't actually buy it. It'll be like leased. I think my days have gone of owning a car again, because just can't afford it. So there we go. So that's those. Let's just go over this because I want this bit to have a bit more colour on it. I was going to do this on a black mat, and I wished I had now. because I'm not sure I'm going to get it off this. I was going to use it on one of my oven liner ones, but kind of just have to go over it and get it how you want it. So yeah, so right, let's get this one sorted. So let's give this some colour. So I sometimes like opaque paper, because, you know, gummed paper was quite popular in offices, and I'm trying to create that utilitarian look, like it's been around for a long time. So I'm going to go with this on some of the things that I do. Gum tape was often used as strengthening stuff, so in fact it was kind of a predecessor of sellotape, because, you know, sellotape wasn't widely used in office environments. It's quite expensive, I believe, when it was first invented. It's 10 a penny now, isn't it? So I often do, because this is paper, I often do this with just ordinary, you know, watercolours, but like, because I'm using alcohol inks, I sometimes like the feeling it gives, the mottly kind of feel it gives. It bleeds less than watercolour does. Okay, so this has taken really well. This one hasn't taken quite so well. And I think I've missed a whole section. I did, that one there doesn't have anything on, so maybe I'll put a different colour on that one. So we're going to go with some greeny colour, because we can. Why ever not? And I kind of, you know, you just kind of don't just go plonk plonk plonk. Just turn your dabber around until you're kind of happy. Okay. Might get a different colour on there. What shall I have? Go for something. Let's go for another kind of greeny kind of colour. I mean, these aren't going to be true colours, because they're oh no, that's the wrong one. Because they're coming off this that's picked up all of the colours, all of the pigments are all kind of mixing in together, so everything comes out kind of that browny colour. So it's much easier to do when it's flat, so dipping it in water didn't help me. I'm just going to kind of just dry it off a bit. Try not to melt the stuff that is on. In fact, actually, you just bear with me, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to move it onto a different mat. Okay, so I've moved all of the things over now, so I've moved them onto a different mat. It might not be, still might not be able to see. I can't really tell what you can see, but what I will say is this one, because it was so crinkly, because it was dropped in water, has kind of pulled in different ways. I mean, it'll be absolutely fine. It'll be usable, but it's not my favourite. This one has patinaed and, you know, kind of pulled and got a nice kind of pattern on it, and that looks quite natural, and I'm happy with that one. And this one I'm really happy with, because it's developed that like cloudy sort of feeling to it, which I really like, and I think looks quite vintage sticky tapey. It's also developed a bit of a trying to find a piece of paper I can put underneath it. It's developed a bit of a different texture to it as well. So that's what that one looks like, and I'm really happy with the way that one's turned out. So that sort of opaque tape, I think is really good. So there you go. See, that's how that one's gone, and I'm really happy with the way that one's turned out. This is the one that has got the wrinkly patterns on it. It's not bad. It's not horrible. There are quite a few naked blobs on it, and then this is the other one. This is the one that was the really cheap sticky tape. And again, that's not too bad. It's got quite dark in places though. It's not bad, like I say, it depends on what you want from it. So just give it a try, basically. So, you know, you can always, it's sticky tape, it doesn't cost that much money, does it? So you can always give it another go, and you're not using a lot of alcohol ink. You know, this stuff has lasted me forever. And you can get some cool effects. You might even want something that's completely random. You might want to do it all in red or all in blue or whatever. You know, whatever floats your boat. Don't be constrained by normality. So anyway, that's it. So that's today's kind of just, it's not really a tutorial, it's just a bit of a, this is what I do and this is how I make it. If you want to give it a go, please give it a go. That's absolutely great. If you don't, that's fine. Thanks for spending some time with me. Sorry I've been a bit anxious today. I will, the next video I record will be post funeral, so I should be feeling a bit in a better state then, depending on what the drive down has gone like, depending on whether my car's all right. Anyway, so don't forget, I love you all without exception, so you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. And I'll see you all in the next video. Lots of love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Big hugs. And I'll see you soon. Take care, folks. Bye. Bye.